A few weeks ago, I bought a job lot of BBC Microtech from eBay. This included some games, books, drives, and 3 BBC Master systems. The first computer seems pretty good, but it appears to have heavy corrosion underneath. The second is promising, but still needs some work. And the third has been left taken apart and is covered in dirt. In this multi-episode series, my mission is to get enough work in to turn a profit, and hopefully keep a system for myself. And today we are working on BBC Master number 3. So this is one of the BBC Micros that come in the bundle, and it is in some very rough shape. For one, you can see the cover's not on. That's because it's not screwed down. Though it does look like a lot of the posts are there, so it's not like it's snapped off. It's like someone opened it for some reason and they didn't put it back. There are of course a lot of signs of dirt and probably bugs and dust and all sorts of horrible stuff. It's got a battery case here. Apparently they tend to come with a battery, but they can leak, so people sometimes put an external battery case on it and hide it somewhere else. I'm not sure if this is original or not. I assume it's not, because it looks like there's some colour changes going on, so they've definitely added this in, but there's things have leaked everywhere. So yeah, this is definitely can class as a micro from hell. It looks like there are some ROMs here. I know the normal BBC needs 2, I'm not sure about the Master. I have got 2 other computers, so hopefully I'll have all the ROMs I need. But there is something under this keyboard moving around, and it looks like, actually now, some old crusty batteries. So that's nice. There's only 2 though, so there's 2 more somewhere. Now this is definitely not getting plugged in. Any kind of BBC like this, just in general, you need to change the capacitors. More specifically, the reefer capacitors. They can short out and explode, and it's not very nice. And of course it can damage the power supply more. There's other capacitors that can be changed anyway, the electrolytic ones. You can see there's some dotted around in the board anyway. I mean, these things, they don't tend to last a very long time anyway. So a 4-year-old computer that's been used and abused, yeah, they're going to need to be changed. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take out this power supply and change those capacitors, and then just give the thing just a general clean. Even if this one is possibly too far gone, we can use that power supply on the others, hoping that it's not actually dead itself. Like I said, someone's opened this up. They wouldn't have done that if there wasn't a reason for it. So I've took the power supply out. I'm not going to film repairing that. I've got a whole bunch of these to do, so I'm going to film one of them, but I'm going to do the first one myself because I haven't done it on a Master yet. But yeah, the only way I can know if this computer is too far gone is to strip it down. I need to see how bad the corrosion is. From the top, the computer don't look too bad, but looking through the vent holes at the bottom, I can see more batteries going around and signs of corrosion. So I think that I'm literally going to have to strip this down completely and have a look. Otherwise this might be doomed to be a parts computer for one of the others. So I think one of the first things to do is to take this keyboard out and get those other batteries out of here. I'm going to have to use my screw sorter in a minute, because it looks like every other screw is completely different, and I don't want to put the wrong one in the wrong place. There's another one up here, and it should just unplug. And before I get too carried away, I'll put my anti-static wristband on. I didn't put this on before taking the power supply out, as I don't want to give myself a path to ground. As you can see here, it's completely exposed. So let's carefully wiggle them off gently. Again, fingers for the corrosion, nice. I have got gloves, but I think I don't want to ruin my gloves. And here we are, so we've got a board. So there's possibly something maybe has leaked here. I'm not sure we can see that's like really dark there. It's like some traces have possibly been cut there. I have no idea why someone would have done that. You can see here, year 1989. Some sort of corrosion here hasn't affected the traces much. This is unbelievably filthy. Okay, that needs to be cleaned. Well, now we can see these two horrible batteries. They can go. This one has completely split open. It looks like it has leaked in that corner. Luckily not by the PCB. We have a speaker. You just unplug, cool. And there we have the motherboard. So, how are you held in? I don't see any screws other than the ones on these ports. I see this side moving. I don't see anything moving here. So, now put these to the side. And there we go. And we do see this kind of like triple decker like board thing going over here with this ROM that says WAP edit. Never heard of that. But to be honest, the board doesn't seem all that bad. There's something going on here. So whatever's leaked at the top has kind of ate its way through those vias. So I might have to put some link wires there. There's something going on down here as well. Not sure what you can pick up on the camera. There's a hint of green in some of these sockets. There's also hints of some corrosion on some traces over here as well. I see a bit of copper exposed. Yeah, this whole board is going to need quite a thorough wash. Unfortunately, this bit of metal is riveted on there. I'd have liked to have taken that off. I don't really want to be trying to mess around with rivets. So I think maybe some kind of alcohol wash, or blast it with some water, then alcohol, make sure it dries so there's no chance of corrosion. Sometimes putting alcohol in it can displace the water from under the chips, and of course evaporate itself with heat. So normally when I do these boards I tend to put it into something like an ultrasonic cleaning tank. They usually I kind of rinse it off one way or another beforehand, and this is too big to go in the tank, unfortunately. I wouldn't want to put an RF modulator in there anyway, or anything that has any kind of crystal. Anything like that would have to be taken off first. But without taking that thing off, that plate at the back, probably wouldn't want to rinse it under water and then dry it off with a heat gun. There's many ways of going around this, but I think I need to actually clean the case, because without a clean case I've got nowhere for this to go, and I don't really want high voltage just being exposed. I want it sitting down in its proper place before I power something on. I'm hoping to get any of the big bits with the brush and then pull up with some cotton buds and go just gently clean the general area. And already you can see most of that corrosion is gone, though it has stained the board. And here you can see some of the green from that corrosion of the copper, and possibly some of this solder mask coming off. Now I can see there's some vias that go to a connector on the other side, which to be honest needs a bit of a clean itself. And they look like they do go to some of the chips in this area, so I might have to desolder, physically put a wire through it and solder each side, and that can help ensure that that connection is safe and working. I've already cleaned up much of this connector. I wanted to make sure that it wasn't bridging anything. Some of these connectors are quite corroded, however nothing is bridging on the other side of the board by where the bank of ROM chips are. There is what looks like some old rework. You can see the flux and such, where these pins have been resoldered at some point, so I think I might also touch them up. And then down here by the cartridge socket there's also some corrosion. That could possibly be affecting a ROM. if it's blocking some kind of data line or something like that. The cartridge sockets don't look bad, but it was quite grimy in that area on the case, so it's possible that something could have seeped through. None of these connections look broken, but I'll still pin them out anyway after cleaning them up, just in case the corrosion is holding on some weak metal. You can definitely see some stuff coming up. And I think now I'm just going to do just a general brush over, make some alcohol treating of just a general board, and then touch up some of these connections around the ROM sockets, and then hopefully that should be enough. I've also taken out whatever this cartridge is and this ROM because I don't know what it actually is. But it looks like this socket and this socket, which these two are in, have had rework, so I'll now revisit that. With the board cleaned, we can now have a better look at the connections themselves. And with some of these more corroded looking solder joins, I then desoldered them, and I can now use a bit of wire to go through each side of the PCB to ensure a better connection. And removing the old solder, make sure that the new solder added won't be contaminated with whatever corrosion, and then use some wire, some solid core wire, to make a better connection between the layers, just in case like the via or something is too corroded or it's just not there anymore. So I've got some solid core wire here, and that will be a perfect candidate to go through to the actual metal itself to make a connection, not the solder that's supposed to kind of hold it there. So this is the BBC Master mostly put back together, with the recapped power supply, the motherboard cleaned, as well as a lot of the casing cleaned, and we should be at a point where we can test it. Now, I don't have a composite video cable for the BBC Master. It uses this quite weird BNC connector at the back. However, my function generator does have a BNC to crocodile cable, so I've rigged this up. So I should be able to capture this on my computer monitor. So if we turn it on, we get a beep and we do get a picture. So when it turns on, it should go straight into basic, and we don't have that. So if I try some commands, like a print statement, print hello, we don't seem to get anything. This issue was somewhat expected, as you can see, we don't have our battery case plugged in. It all kind of melted and went horrible, so I have to try and replace that. And with that battery disconnected, our real-time clock chip, well, that won't store any memory, like stuff like what language we want it to boot into and other configuration settings. So to reset that, you have to turn the computer off, hold down the R key as you turn it back on, and we can see it's now at a CMOS RAM reset mode. So we press break and we should be able to get to a command line where we can type in our configure statements. And we don't, that fails. So that is quite weird. So it looks like for some reason it doesn't want to go into that mode. Now I have removed that kind of weird wacky triple decker whatever what's going on chip here, because I wanted to get it just at bare basics before I kind of carry on with it. But we do have the main ROM here, so if we type in star ROMs, we can see BBC Basic. We can see the terminal, we know that because we're stuck in it, and we also see some of the other cool stuff a Master comes with, such as the edit and view sheet programs. So we should be able to go star basic. Now I'm actually using the keyboard off another master, as the keyboard this one come with was quite bad, so I have to try and fix it. Luckily I've got this one, and well, it looks like we're in basic. If I now do print hello, we get that. So it looks like we have a bit of a problem going into that sort of reset mode. So I'm going to have to check what's going on with this chip, and I'll be doing that next time.